Where were you when you first heard about the September 11th attacks?
I was at my home on Poplar Street in Bangor sleeping. I'd worked overnight, and my wife woke me up.
Well, I was living in Ohio, and I have 3 kids, so I was actually at an elementary school with my daughter, who was 1 year old, in the stroller, and we were helping my son, who was in 2nd grade. We were helping his teacher make copies and do things for the classroom. So he was in the classroom. My son, who was in 5th grade, was actually across town at a different elementary school for a talented and gifted program. So we were sort of all in different places.
Actually, we were working that day. We were in the training room, and we turned on the news when we heard that something was going on, and we watched it unfold right in the training room, right here at work. Once we put it on, we were glued in there. We were looking at other news outlets on the computer and stuff, but we pretty much spent the rest of the day just keeping eyes and ears glued to the TV and the computer to see what was developing.
What did you think when you first heard about it? What did you feel?
Her words were, "We're under attack." And being a cop, I thought, well, we're probably not under attack, but something's happening. It's just what is happening? I went into the response mode of how do we need to respond to this, and what's my role going to be, I guess.
Well, to tell you the truth, at first I thought, wow, that's some really bad pilot error there. It never dawned on me that it was intentional. And then people were saying, oh, that wouldn't have happened if it weren't intentional.
Oh, shock, I guess would be the word to say. It's like, couldn't believe that it was actually happening. And that at first we thought it was just an accident. Then once it unfolded a little bit, we're like, that's really happening on our soil? It's like just shock and astonishment.
When you first saw it on the TV, what was your response then?
It was incredible to me. It was something that was, am I really seeing this? How can this possibly be? How can a building collapse? It was incredulity, I guess. Yeah.
Right. How'd that make you feel?
It made me feel, well, I guess a little panicked because I wanted all of my kids with me, and very vulnerable at first. Those were my feelings at first, I guess.
How long did you carry that before it changed?
Well, I called my husband and he said, well, just don't panic because you're pretty fine. We were living in a small town in Ohio. We're fine here, so don't panic, and they'll let us know if we need to get the kids. So I took my daughter home and turned on the TV, of course. And as things unfolded, I was still very sad and in a panic, but also the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Yes.
When did that turn at any point for you from shock and astonishment to?
Once we found out that it was intentional, they were like, all right, this is getting real. What's next, or what's going to happen with the country, and is this another war starting, or what have you, or what else is going to happen? And then that's when the second tower got hit, and then the Pentagon, then Pennsylvania. It's like, wow, this is really, how much more can happen?
How do you think it changed you personally, if at all?
Being a cop, you're already aware, trying to be aware of everything that's going on around you. This makes it that much more when larger scale things occur, like if I'm going to go flying, if I'm going to go to a large event. It's just that a little bit more of a heightened awareness of how could this go wrong? How are we vulnerable? And do I need to be on a more alert? And I'm looking for more. I'm looking for more risk.
Well, I guess it took a little while to maybe trust other countries, and realize that this was an extremist group. It wasn't necessarily one country attacking another, but one group trying to wreak havoc on a nation, and made me appreciate the closeness of my family, and it made me want to hold them closer to me, and just gave me an appreciation for my faith, probably my faith and my family and my friends. Those were the things I thought about most.
Yep, I believe it's eye-opening that not only could we get hit at home from another country, but this job, the inherent dangers that are posed, that luckily that we aren't part of a big city like New York, but we still have our issues, our buildings, our fires that we have, that this job profession is inherently dangerous, and it could happen at a blink of an eye.
How do you think the community has changed as a result of that day?
I don't know that the community has fully changed. I think initially they changed, and that everybody was on that heightened sense of alert and a little bit of fear. I think now they only change to the degree that we remind them that we need them to be paying attention. So I think there's a little bit of that complacency that still falls back into place for normal people when they just go about their lives.
Wow. I think that we learned that everyday people can be heroes. I think we have a greater appreciation for all the first responders like you guys. My dad was a fireman, so as I watched all the events unfold on TV, my heart was breaking for, all of the firemen and policemen who were putting their lives on the line, and how their families at home must have felt. And I think that people just realize that life can change in an instant, and that we really need to appreciate all the people who we love and hold them close to us. And I think it really has strengthened a lot of people's faith, and probably patriotism might be a little stronger because of it. So what was intended to tear us down, I think actually might have made our country come together and be more united and stronger because of it.
I think some of the community have opened their eyes a little bit. I don't think a lot of them had taken it really seriously, but I think a lot of people have opened their eyes that, we are just as vulnerable. We're not a powerhouse. We can still suffer. And I don't know if it really hit home for a lot of people that, that many people lost their lives. It has for us, because we know that it was 343 brothers that we lost that day, and then countless other law enforcement and civilians in transit that were lost. That, I think it was an eye-opening for a lot of people, but how it changed them, I really don't know, because it's based on individuals, and I think it opened their eyes up that, we need to be better and be better prepared and be able to handle and watch our borders, that it could happen to us just like anybody else.
Do you think those feelings or sentiments have waned or been lost over time?
I think the people who lived through it will always remember what we were doing at that time and how we felt and how vulnerable we felt. But I think it's really hard to convey those feelings to children who were born right around that time or even after that time. Like the kids I teach in high school, we can tell them about it, and every year I'm very emotional on that day, but I don't think they can ever really understand the gravity of the situation. I think unless you experience something like that, you can't understand how it really felt.